1, 2, 3, go!
Today's the day to go get some respect.
Fred Taylor! Marvin Harrison! Touchdown, Jacksonville!
Yeah!
Touchdown! Touchdown! Touchdown!
Division game. Let's get it done.
Are you ready?
Greg Gumbel and Dan Deerdorf back in Indianapolis, where the Jacksonville Jaguars have won the toss. There is Martin Gramatica, signed just over the weekend when it was determined Adam Vinatieri's sore groin was too sore to allow him to play. His kickoff is to the 7. Maurice Jones. And met before he reached the 20-yard line, but he powers his way over to the 21.
Greg, the guy to keep an eye on is Matt Jones with that sore groin.
This is Taylor. Taylor breaking tackles across the 25 to the 26-yard line, and the rookie Antoine Bethea gets the start. 2nd and 6. Taylor again. Dodges a tackle, first round yardage across the 30 out to the 34-yard line.
Well, a good look at Fred Taylor, who's battled injuries throughout his career. Fred had the whole offseason to be healthy, and this is the kind of back he is. Look at the change of direction, then the power and the balance. It's a wonderful combination for Fred Taylor. He's been around 9 years now out of Florida. When he's healthy, he's as good as anybody.
And that's the big key for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, since they lost Greg Jones, they really need Fred to stay healthy.
First down Jacksonville, movement up front and penalty markers fly, our first of the day.
Number 90, defense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
That penalty is on Monte Rager, the 8th-year defensive lineman. There's Coach Jack Del Rio. If there was ever a team that mirrored their coach, it's these Jaguars.
He's a tough guy.
On the other side, veteran coach.
You can make the point the Colts really do mirror Tony. Always composed. They seldom lose their cool. Very focused. Tony is well, let's just put it this way. He's a real favorite among people who really know the NFL.
You bet. 1st and 5. This is Taylor again. Left side across the 40. Tough to bring down out to the 43-yard line, and just shy of a first down, it would appear. Gary Brackett makes the stop.
Well, the one thing about it, they know that Dwight Freeney didn't practice hardly at all this week. He's got a bad leg muscle reel up, way up towards the top. So you know something? What have the Jaguars done? They're going right at it.
And thanks to a penalty prior to the last play, it's a 2nd and 1. Double tight end setup now with Kyle Brady and George Reister. Taylor, first down. Spinning close to midfield. Another Jacksonville first down. And these Jaguars doing on offense what the Indianapolis Colts like to do when they start out a game.
Exactly right. Move the chains, but again, it's just hammering away on the ground. In that time, you saw an awfully good block, driving Freeney to the inside. Look at Fred Taylor. Boy, you get such good traction on this field turf. Yeah, you see the little chunks of rubber kick off. The players love playing on this surface.
The offense has been all Fred Taylor so far. Leftwich going to throw. Near side. That's complete. And into Indianapolis territory is Reggie Williams.
Reggie Williams, just a modest 6'4", this time working against Nick Harper, who's 5'10", but height had nothing to do with that. That was just an awfully good throw to the outside shoulder by Byron Leftwich. Again, take a look at these guys as they attempt to replace Jimmy Smith, who retired this year. Those are 3 big guys.
Lots for Leftwich to aim at. 2nd and 4. He'll throw. Little screen out of the backfield. Taylor. And Taylor is racked up at the 47-yard line. That'll be a loss on the play. Darrell Reed, number 95, with the stop. Let's go back and listen to this. brings up a 3rd and 5.
And speaking of listen to this, check out the crowd.
Maurice Jones into the lineup for Jacksonville. And the give is to Jones. Big opening inside the 40 to the 37-yard line and a first down.
Boy, good call that time by Carl Smith, the offensive coordinator. He got a little bit lucky in that Indianapolis was coming with the overload blitz to the other side of the formation. See him coming over on that side, and where are they going? They're going to run away from it. No second help there. No second-degree help with the linebackers. Yep, Carl, write that one down. That worked out.
And Jones, the rookie out of UCLA, stays in the backfield. The 8th play of this drive for the Jaguars. The give is to Jones. Jogs left. Dips outside. Going to turn the corner. Inside the 30. The 20. And inside the 15. Close to the 10-yard line. Mike Doss saved the touchdown.
What a nice combination the Jaguars have when they can go from Fred Taylor to Maurice Jones, because Jones has the burst, younger legs. Now granted, huge hole to the outside, but boy did he get Jason David to bite and loose contain. He put a move on Jason David. That was slick.
Fred Taylor back in the lineup now as the ball is just outside the 10-yard line.
Boy, imagine this, a little power come right at you football from Jacksonville. How out of character.
Taylor, right side, inside of a block. And wrapped up at about the 7, maybe the 6-yard line. An impressive opening drive by the Jacksonville offense.
Against a team that is maybe the best front runner in this league right now in the Colts. They're used to scoring first. They're not used to having the other guys get on the scoreboard first. And barring some sort of a Jacksonville mistake, you think that's going to be the case here. 3 field goals, 3 touchdowns out of 8 trips.
Taylor in the backfield on 2nd down. Ducks inside the 5, close to the 3.
Boy, the other thing that every opponent of the Indianapolis Colts wants to do is to do what Jacksonville's doing on this first drive. See that clock? 8:05, 8:04. It's shortening the game. Peyton Manning is sitting over there with Marvin Harrison. Look at that. What a running game that they got going. But they're shortening this game. This drive in the long run might mean the Colts get 1 less possession in this game.
Play clock down to 4. Leftwich in the shotgun. Gets the snap off. Looking around. Running for his life and going to make it to the end zone for the touchdown.
Oh, Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis both met right behind Byron Leftwich. They would have preferred to meet at Byron Leftwich. They met right behind him. Watch the rush come off the corners. Oh, with that step up into the pocket. You know what makes that happen? Manawai, Meester, and Naoli. They snuffed the rush up the middle. Leftwich able to step up, get away from the ends, and walk into the end zone.
And it's gotten a little quiet in here. Josh Scobee for the point after, and it's perfect. 7.5 minutes to play. First quarter, an impressive opening drive by the Jacksonville Jaguars. It results in a Leftwich touchdown and a 7-0 Jaguars lead. Byron Leftwich looking over some information on the sidelines after he engineered an 11-play, 71-yard drive and scored the touchdown, which was his 2nd rushing touchdown of the season. The kickoff, Terrence Wilkins will run it. Yes, hesitated, and now he's coming to the 10 and down at the 13-yard line. He who hesitates
is lost. That did not work out well.
Peyton Manning and the offense for their first shot right after this. We're back in Indianapolis, and Peyton Manning to take his first snap of the day with 7.5 minutes gone in the first quarter. And he will give it to Dominique Rhodes. Rhodes, left side, running room across the 15 out to about the 17-yard line. And back to the line in a hurry are the Colts. Manning. Quick look in, and that's incomplete. The ball is tipped at the line by John Henderson, number 98.
One of the things Peyton told us was, yes, we love to run the no huddle. We may run it at a faster pace this game. The idea is to fatigue this large defensive line where they may take maybe an extra 10 seconds at the line. This is a faster pace than the Colts normally run.
3rd and 6. Manning throwing, and that's over the middle, and that is complete out close to the 30-yard line to Marvin Harrison. Williams and hard-hitting safeties in Darius and Grant. This is Rhodes trying the left side again and nothing doing as he's wrapped up at the 30-yard line. Darrell Smith, the linebacker on the outside, the first to make the hit.
And there's another good look and a good job by Jags here playing this. But the Colts snapped that ball with 21 seconds left on the play clock. You know, Peyton gets up there and milks it all the way down. Here he goes again now. That was at 17 left on the clock.
Outside, incomplete, overthrew Ben Utek, the H-back. On 3rd and 10. Manning on the move. Looking and throws, and that's complete to Joseph Adai, the rookie out of the backfield, but well short of a first down. And the punting unit will come onto the field, led by Hunter Smith.
Well, the Colts really love to score first. They have tremendous success on opening drives, and this is exactly what the Jacksonville defense had in mind. I mean, you know, scoring first offensively was a bonus. Stopping Peyton on the first drive was key.
Alvin Pearman, oh, what a kick by Smith. All the way back to the 13-yard line, and this is Pearman. 25, 30, out to the 35-yard line. Nice return by Alvin Pearman. Timeout in Indianapolis. 5:09 to play. First quarter. Jaguars with the lead and the ball. First down, Jacksonville, and that will tell you how potent the Indianapolis Colts offense has been. This, in fact, is only the 6th time in the last 33 games that the Colts did not score first in a football game. 2 tight ends and Fred Taylor in the backfield, and Taylor back to work again. Room to run across the 35 to the 39, almost the 40-yard line.
As we watched the Colts defend this Jacksonville running game, their biggest hitter by far defensively is safety Bob Sanders, who's out of this game. He's their John Lynch. He's the guy that brings the hammer, and he's sitting this one out.
For only the 3rd time, Leftwich to throw. Far side of the field, and that is complete and out of bounds, very close to the first down. George Reister, the 4th-year tight end. Mike Doss was there to cover.
And then you'd expect Jacksonville to challenge the safeties. A rookie starting in Bethea, and then Mike Doss, who'd lost his job. And there, hey, guess what? A spin move to the inside by Freeney. Well handled that time by Khalif Barnes.
3rd and inches for Jacksonville. Maurice Drew in the backfield. Leftwich going to keep it.
He didn't get much of a surge.
But he got enough for the first down, says Pete Morelli, our referee today.
Well, it's very fortunate that he didn't need more than about a foot.
Dan, you mentioned on the NFL Today that the thing to keep an eye on is maybe some kind of fatigue on the part of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You see any?
Well, there's nothing harder than playing a Monday night football game and then going on the road the next week. You got a short work week, and you wonder if they can match the home team's intensity. Well, at least so far, I think that question's been answered for Jacksonville.
6 first downs. Quick pass out here, incomplete. That ball's on the ground. Reggie Williams, the intended receiver.
Ooh, they had a big play.
And a penalty marker flies at that confrontation between Reggie Williams and I believe it was Cato June.
I think it was Cato June as well. This was well after the play. June had a hold of his leg. Did he kick him?
After the play. Personal foul. Number 11, offense. 15-yard penalty.
It's on Williams.
Second down.
Now that's the lack of composure. First of all, it's a bad pass by Byron Leftwich. But there's Cato June, number 59. Now he does let him go. He lets him go. Well, I couldn't see the feet of Reggie Williams, but I'm assuming he gave him a nudge.
What did not work well in Reggie's favor is he kept the play going.
Right, and in Cato June's defense, you saw him unwrap the arms, and he didn't drag him down to the ground.
2nd and 25. And the give is to Drew. Running room, 40. Out across the 45 to the 47-yard line. Antoine Bethea with the stop. But it is already a pretty fierce one.
Yes, it certainly is. And there's another one that's at the boiling point. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh.
3rd and 8. And once again on the ground. And once again it is Drew. First down and then some. Inside the 45, close to the 40-yard line.
Ooh, in this Indianapolis crowd, you can hear them booing. They did not expect the Jags to convert a 2nd and 25 in 2 running plays. And that was really monstrous, overcoming that stupid penalty to Reggie Williams. And they did it so easily.
Tony Dungy looking on. And what he has seen so far he doesn't like, because this Jacksonville ground game is just crushing.
I'm not a math major, but that looks like 100 yards to me.
Leftwich for Taylor. Shakes a tackle in the backfield. Inside the 40 to about the 39. 7-0 Jacksonville here. Jacksonville 115 total yards already today. Leftwich gives, and there's a penalty marker down as Fred Taylor fights his way to about the 33-yard line. Let's check the flag.
Yeah, I think it's encroachment on the Colts. They were in the neutral zone at the snap of the ball. Pete Morelli, our referee today.
Pete says, who'd you say that was?
Offside. Nose guard on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
We don't know. We'll just say it's the nose guard. Ron Meeks, the defensive coordinator for the Colts, and so far he has not had an answer yet for the Jacksonville ground game.
Well, they won't panic. Ron's been at the helm there for 5 years. Of course, Tony Dungy, a defensive coach by trade, and it's his old system that he ran in Tampa Bay.
That's 5 yards to 3 for Indy on the ground. 2nd and 4. Leftwich going to throw it. Down the middle. Intercepted. Jason David. David to the 15. Gets a block. Penalty marker flies, and he's out of bounds just across the 20 at the 25-yard line.
Well, he got a block, but it was in the back. Well, we talked about Ron Meeks in this defense, and they weren't going to panic. They got the big play they were looking for.
There's no foul on the play from the illegal block in the back. It's a block from the side.
They determined the block came from the side instead of the back, and so the return will stand at the 25-yard line. Leftwich picked off Indy on offense after this. Back at the RCA Dome, Jason David's first interception of the season gives Manning and the Colts the ball at their own 25-yard line. We are under a minute to play here in the first quarter, and Manning goes back to work. Going to give it to Dominique Rhodes, try to right side, and there is nothing doing there. He goes out of bounds.
That was a bad pass from Byron Leftwich. Right up here, take a look at George Reister as he's going to go down. He's actually going to be open. Watch this. Right there, he's wide open. And Byron, the ball just sails on him right into the hands of Jason David. That was a relatively easy completion with anywhere close to a decent throw.
2nd and 10. They'll try the running game again. Rhodes again. Rhodes out to the 30 and out to the 32-yard line, where Mike Peterson, the ex-Colt, makes the stop, and that'll be the last play of this first quarter. And we've come to the end of the first quarter. Jacksonville with a 7-0 lead on the Colts. We're back to Indianapolis after this. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 41.
This year, come on, Colts, Super Bowl bound!
Quarter. We're ready for the second quarter.
Yes, sir.
Joseph Adai in the backfield for Peyton Manning on 3rd and 3. Manning barking out his usual assortment. Play clock down to 3, down to 2, down to 1, and he barely gets it off. And on the move. And throws it away. Paul Spicer giving the pressure, and we talked with Jack Del Rio last night about just what you want to try to do. That's what they want to try to do.
Well, absolutely, and the fact that the Jacksonville Jaguars don't have what you would call an elite pass rusher. They had one in Reggie Hayward, but they lost him in the Dallas game with a torn Achilles. He's out for the year, so their pressure on the quarterback from now on is going to have to be more of a team concept.
Hunter Smith to kick it. Alvin Pierman is back at his own 20-yard line. Pierman from the 23. Oh, hit hard, bounces off a tackler and across the 30 to about the 32 or 31-yard line. Early in the second quarter, Jaguars still lead by 7. Number 28 is Marlon Jackson. He's replaced Nick Harper at cornerback, who has suffered a groin injury. His return is questionable. Fred Taylor in the backfield, and is going to take the handoff and finds room to run right up the middle, out to the 40, and then close to a first down before Antoine Bethea, the rookie safety, made the stop.
Well, right back to the game plan, which is Fred Taylor, then a little Maurice Jones-Drew, and nice little changeup, but he is getting some blocking, and Jack Del Rio so pleased with the progress that this offensive line of Barnes, Monoway, Meester, Naoli, and Williams has been making. They are really starting to gel.
114 rushing yards already for the Jaguars today. Once again, Taylor with room to run across the 45 and a first down. Mike Doss with the tackle.
And you documented, Greg, that Marlon Jackson now in for Nick Harper. Well, that's 2 starting members of the secondary that are out, and a third is a rookie who would have been starting at strong safety in Antoine Bethea, and now has been shifted to free safety. A little bit of a hobbled Dwight Freeney. I think we're starting to get the picture that this Colts defense a little bit nicked up.
The give is to Taylor, and Taylor is wrapped up at about the line of scrimmage by Gary Brackett. 2nd and 11 as Leftwich works out of the shotgun and will give it to Drew. And Drew doesn't get much at all, and the Colt defense finally getting some stand-up play from the front 4. Monte Rager with the stop.
Well, Maurice Drew, he's had a pretty good beginning to this ball game, and again he shows his versatility, his explosiveness to start in the middle and then get to the corner, and then look at him finish. And again, this was when they had a 2nd and 25, and the Jags went ahead and converted it to a first down on a pair of running plays. That demoralizes a defense.
Speaking of converting, the Jaguars 3 out of 3 on 3rd down. Leftwich with the screen, and that one falls incomplete, intended for Drew, and for the first time today they will punt. And we got another marker, and some more jawing and pushing and shoving. Number 67, Vince Manawai, was involved, and so was Cato June again.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 64 defense, 15-yard penalty, 4th down.
Let's take a look at the end of this play. Cato June tries to get up, and Vince Manaway actually throws him down to the ground. The grand scheme of things, I've I've seen worse than that, but again, here we got 2 personal foul calls already in this game against the Jaguars. One on Reggie Williams. Remember, they had back-to-back personal fouls in the game in Jacksonville last year against the Colts.
We saw Vince Manawai in the lobby of the hotel as we were leaving last night, and I remember thinking, please don't throw me down.
No, a big man.
So Terrence Wilkins is deep for the Colts at the 20. And, you know, after a strong start, the Jaguars have done the Colts a couple of favors along the way since then.
Tony might be talking about the spotting of the ball, whether or not they placed this on the right yard line.
Well, the officials have it now at the 34.
Looks to me like that's where it's going to stay.
Well, that's where the ball is going to be snapped from. Chris Hansen will kick it away. Wilkins from the 18. Breaks through. 40 with a blocker. Terrence Wilkins is going to take it all the way. About 82 yards by my count.
Right up the middle of the field. He starts to the sidelines. One broken tackle, and that's the last time that Terrence Wilkins is going to be touched. What a wonderful return. What a wonderful return. Russ Purnell, the coordinator on special teams for the Colts. Man, I'm telling you what, he'll be floating all week. And Jack Del Rio, we saw that look on the sidelines. All that good work they've done to this point. Poof.
Martin Gramatica with the extra point. 11:42 to play in the first half. The Colts, who were down so long in this game, have pulled even at 7. Well, an Indianapolis Colts team that looked to be in a little bit of trouble for most of this first half, suddenly rejuvenated, tied at 7.
Well, special teams. No other part of the game can it turn so quickly. 18 minutes of football played here. Jacksonville dominated 17 minutes and 50 seconds of it.
There's a much better kick from Gramatica. This is Drew from about his 1, and we got a whistle.
We will do this kick over again.
Wow. You ever seen that before, Dan?
Well, if Pete Morelli, the referee, did not give the signal, if he did not give the signal to start, then it doesn't count.
Everything was premature.
Yeah, he's got to stand back there. He's got to blow the whistle and drop his arm, and then that's the all clear. And I'm assuming that they went ahead and kicked it before he officially cleared the action.
The clash of bodies on a kickoff are among the most violent in the entire game of football.
Not everybody really appreciates having to do it twice in a row.
Right.
See, watch this.
Pete Morelli said, do it.
Yeah, well, no, he hasn't said do it yet.
Oh, he pointed.
Yeah, he's just pointing. Watch this. He still hasn't said do it.
Team Gramatica says, maybe I don't want to do it now.
Now he goes. Now you can play.
Gramatica's kick. This time from the 3. Drew to the 20. Vaulting across the 25 to about the 27 or 28-yard line. 11:37 to play in the first half. Maurice Drew goes airborne. Scobee gets the stop. We'll be back. Terrence Wilkins, number 10, the author of that 82-yard punt return, looking on as Leftwich and the Jaguars go back to work on offense. Pass from the far side, and that's complete to number 19, Ernest Wilford. The punter's worst nightmare is not a guy coming at him, but with a blocker in front of him.
Well, the punter, Chris Hansen, watch Jason David, number 42 right there. There's only one guy left. It's number 2 right there. And the only thing he has left is his feet. As Jason David knocked him flat on his back, and Wilkins then sailed to the end zone.
Jason David, all of 5'8", 188 pounds. 2nd and 3. Leftwich going to keep it on the ground. This is LeBrandon Tofield, and stopped at the 35-yard line. That is Fred Taylor, excuse me.
Well, we're going to see now if this Colts defense is going to play with a little more enthusiasm, whether or not the spark provided by Terrence Wilkins is going to jump over to this side of the ball. The crowd's going to help him.
Maurice Drew into the backfield for this 3rd down play. 19 rushes in 26 offensive plays for the Jaguars. They'll give it to Drew. Going to dip out to the side and pick up the 1st down across the 40 to the 41. Bethea in again on the stop, but not before the 1st down.
Boy, that was Barry Sanders-ish to take this thing right here. Left, right, left. Where am I going to go? And then he realizes that Indianapolis has totally lost contain to the offensive left. That's not what you want to see from a defensive unit. Somebody has got to get upfield and maintain the discipline of contain.
Drew still in there, 127 rushing yards for the Jaguars on the day. Deep drop for Leftwich, and throws it complete and dropped. George Leister, and that's ruled incomplete. This will not be a fumble and a return. It's an incomplete pass.
We've got a flag down back at Leftwich. He got hammered.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer, number 95, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Darrell Reed, the defensive tackle. All right, let's see how much longer it is after the release. Way after. Way after. That is an open and shut no-brainer. No use to even argue in that case, Tony, and you know it.
And this is going to move the football all the way across midfield into the 44 of the Colts.
Is that the 3rd personal foul we've had in this game so far? 2 on Jacksonville, and that's the 1st one on the Colts.
The color of the day is yellow.
Well, it's also going to be black and blue if they keep hitting each other after the whistle.
All Manning can do is look on and hope his turn comes soon. Drew. Room to run. Inside the 35 to the 32. Bo Schobel with the stop. This ground game of the Jaguars has been awesome.
And it's also been no surprise whatsoever. Take a look at that. Oh, wonderful job pinning back to the inside by Mercedes Lewis, their number 1 draft choice, the tight end from UCLA. He made an excellent block at the point of attack, blocking down and allowing the RB to get to the outside.
Maurice Drew with 84 yards running. Fred Taylor with another 50. 1st down at the 32. Look at that move inside the 30 to the 29. And Gilbert Gardner with the tackle.
Maurice Drew, this guy, his name is Jones Drew. The Jones is to honor his grandfather. You notice 5'7". He said, oh, he was so upset. He thought they tried to hang a 5'6" on him at the combine. He didn't like any part of that. And of course, in his rookie ritual, what they did to him, something a little unusual, Greg.
Always a thrill to have your eyebrows shaved. This is Fred Taylor, dodges a tackler inside the 25 to the 23, and he'll be close to a 1st down.
They're going to have a measurement here. And the one thing I'm noticing so far about the job this Jacksonville offensive line is doing is that it is the second line of defense that's having to make plays for Indianapolis. The defensive line is being handled and totally removed by this Jacksonville offensive line. It's the safeties and the linebackers that are having to come up and make plays.
In Indianapolis' starting lineup on defense, not one D lineman is over 300 pounds. Jacksonville's offensive line, not one is under 300.
Jacksonville has 164 total yards so far in this game. Indy has 26, 11 first downs to 1. In time of possession, almost 19 minutes to 3 minutes.
And yep, they're all even, 7-7 on the board. 3rd and inches. Last time, Leftwich took the quarterback sneak. And he keeps it again. And we have movement on the line. Could be the rookie, Mercedes Lewis.
False start. Number 89, offense.
Oh, boy.
3rd down.
Rookies make mistakes, but that is really, that is an automatic first down with that quarterback sneak by big Byron Leftwich, and a little bit different now.
Mercedes Lewis still not fully recovered from a high ankle sprain he suffered in preseason.
Yeah, the first preseason game, so he missed all the rest of, he didn't play in their opener, got in their game last week against Pittsburgh, so he's behind.
He and Maurice Drew, teammates at UCLA. Drew is in the backfield now on 3rd and 6. Leftwich flips it to Drew, shakes a tackle inside the 30, still on his feet, first down yardage, and then some. Almost to the 15-yard line. What an effort by Maurice Drew.
Well, like everybody, I think, in a blue jersey, I thought he was tackled and the play was over. Talk about 2nd and 3rd effort. It's just a setup, little quick screen. Out comes the offensive line. You can see Naoli wasn't able to get there in time, but that, man, what awareness and leg drive by Maurice Drew.
I counted 5 missed tackles, Dan.
Whoa, baby.
5. And all Manning can do is watch.
Much to the delight of the Jacksonville coaching staff.
This is Taylor, and Taylor can't escape the grasp this time. Robert Mathis, number 98, the first one to hit him.
If you can turn Peyton Manning into the highest paid spectator in the building, your chances of winning go way up.
Jacksonville today in the red zone. 1 for 1. And Jack Del Rio made a point of saying it last night. We want to take the air out of that Indianapolis offense. No better way to do it than to keep them sitting on the sideline. Look at that time of possession. This is Taylor. 15, 10 to the 5. And that'll be enough for a 1st and goal.
It's really interesting, the style in which Jacksonville is running the ball. They're having their running backs come to a complete stop about a yard behind the scrimmage, survey the defense, and then make a cut. You know, look at this. Fred Taylor's coming to a stop, and then he's bouncing it one direction or another. Indianapolis is doing a terrible job of maintaining contain, and Fred Taylor and Maurice Drew are doing an excellent job of spotting the side where they've lost contain.
Drew, 87 yards rushing. Taylor, 66. It's Taylor in the backfield now. The give is to Taylor into about the 3, maybe the 2-yard line. For an offensive lineman, it doesn't get better than this, does it?
No, this is the top of the hill. This is where you want to be. You know you've got the defense unsure of what's coming. You know you're just grinding away and you're running the football. You're not facing those 3rd and 15s where the guys like Robert Mathis and Dwight Freeney are just teeing off.
We saw the Jaguars open the game with an 11-play drive. This is the 11th play of this drive. Leftwich for Taylor. And Taylor can't get away at the 5-yard line.
Oh, that was Dwight Freeney there. That was good work by the All-Pro defensive end. Dwight got upfield, and Fred Taylor, now where he's been doing some stutter steps, that's one thing. But when you got to do it with Dwight Freeney wrapped around your legs, look at him right there. He got upfield against Kyle Brady, and that was the end of that.
3:40 to play in the first half. Drew back onto the field. He's alongside Leftwich, who's in the shotgun. 3rd and goal.
And 6'6" Matt Jones there at the bottom.
Leftwich, quarterback draw, gonna go nowhere. Robert Mathis, the first one to hit him.
And if Tony Dungy's defenses over the years have had a moniker, it's the old bend but don't break. They bet a lot on that one, but they're going to force a field goal. Robert Mathis, Monte Rager cleaned that one up nicely.
Josh Scobee from 24 yards. Got it away, and it hit the goalpost, hit the upright, and it is no good.
Well, special teams for Jack Del Rio to this point in time, obviously a huge disappointment.
There is no reason in the world why the Colts should be in this game, but we remain tied at 7. Back in Indianapolis, 2:47 to play first half. Jacksonville has dominated this football game, yet they find themselves in a 7-7 tie with the Indianapolis Colts, who take over at their own 20-yard line.
And we saw Antoine Bethea, the rookie DB, being worked on. The Colts cannot afford to lose another defensive back.
Play fake. Manning looking deep, throwing deep, has a man open, caught inside the 35-yard line by Reggie Wayne.
Now the ball came out when Reggie Wayne hit the ground, but I'm assuming the ruling's going to be that he took a couple of steps.
Jack Del Rio already has his flag in hand.
Did he take a couple steps after? Oh, I think they're going to rule that an incomplete pass. I'm not sure if he kept it long enough to establish possession.
Del Rio has thrown the challenge flag.
If he'd have taken 2 or 3 steps and really declared that he had possession, then the ground can't cause a fumble comes into play.
Is challenging the ruling on the field.
I'm not sure that was the case there. This has, in my estimation, a good chance of being overturned.
Boy, talk about a swing play, one way or another. We'll be back after this. Well, we are in a challenge situation. Pete Morelli still taking a look at this play to Reggie Wayne. The question is, did he have possession long enough before he hit the ground and lost control of the football?
I know that your initial reaction when you watch that is to say, well, of course he had possession. But by the letter of the rule, you know, the crowd reacts to that shot. By the letter of the rule, I don't believe he did.
Well, Pete Morelli is still taking a good look at how important would this be to an Indianapolis team that had just 26 total yards prior to this 51-yard play.
I mean, your instinct is to reward Reggie Wayne for a tremendous catch, a great effort. But the NFL, when in doubt, when there's any question as to whether it's a reception or an incompletion, they're going to rule an incompletion. It's about the only break a defensive back gets in today's game. Well, but what do I know? Let's see what Pete Morelli has to say.
He's made his decision.
Yeah.
After reviewing the play, the pass is incomplete. The ball hit the ground. 2nd down. The ball will be placed on the 20-yard line. No charge timeout to Jacksonville.
Good challenge by Jack Del Rio. And it will take the line of scrimmage all the way back deep into Indianapolis territory.
And because it happened at the 2:21 mark, it was still a coach's challenge. You know, everything was just perfect. But when you hit the ground, you got to hold on to the ball. The crowd's booing, but Pete Morelli was right. Now, if you Want to change the rule? Write your local congressman.
A big noisy incomplete makes it 2nd and 10. Tarek Glenn asks the fans to quiet down because Peyton's about to go through his usual routine. 2:21 to play in the first half. Manning over the middle, incomplete. Batted away by Terry Cousin. The pass intended for Dallas Clark. It'll be 3rd and 10.
Yeah, and Terry Cousin says, thanks a lot, Donovan Darius. Watch at the end of this play. The one safety is going to knock the you-know-what out of the other one.
Ow. Indianapolis, 71% success. First in the NFL on 3rd downs coming in today. They're just 1 of 3. Manning throws far side, complete. Reggie Wayne, 1st down.
Good job of picking up the blitz. Try to get off. Going to try to get off another play.
And now they wind the clock, 2:10 and counting. Let's see if Manning does get a playoff in time.
Oh, he better, or it's...
No, he's looking a little upset, but he is going to come to the sideline. With 2 minutes to play.
They still have all 3 of their timeouts.
2 minutes to play here in the first half of a 7-7 game.
We should be seeing Peyton at his best. 2 minutes, all 3 timeouts.
First down from the 42, going to throw it near side, and that's batted incomplete. Marcus Stroud, big number 99.
When you're talking about big 99, you're not kidding. Marcus Stroud working on the inside, doesn't get, great penetration, but realizes at the last minute, let me get up in the air. He and John Henderson, what a duo they form.
What did Marcus tell us last night? It's like playing against your big brother, since these guys are the dominant ones in the division. Manning pulls it down, and he goes down. Bobby McCray, number 93, his 2nd sack of the season.
Well, and he's going against Ryan Deem, the right tackle, number 71, and Ryan Deem is playing hurt. And I think we can really see it there. Ryan Deem pulled his hamstring in Thursday's practice, and that's a move he'd have been able to react to, and he was not able to put weight on that leg right there.
I got you.
3rd and 17. Manning can throw it over the middle and hit Wayne for a 1st down inside the 50 to the 46-yard line. Manning uses his first timeout to stop the clock with 1:15 to play. Martin Gramatica, as you pointed out earlier, Dan, it's been a long time between field goals.
There it is, October the 24th. 04. That's not a misprint. That's correct. Almost 2 years ago.
First down, Colts at the Jacksonville 45.
You got work, Cole.
You hear some of what Manning goes through at the line of scrimmage. He steps up, he throws, and this is out of the backfield, Joseph, a dive, and a dive at about the 40-yard line. We were trying to talk to members of the Jacksonville defense last night. Do you listen to all that stuff? Mike Peterson says, I tell everybody not to listen. I'll do their listening for them.
Right. Easier said than done,
Sure. 2nd and 5. Manning, and that one's incomplete. Far side intended for Aaron Moorhead.
I've been so conditioned on that last shot where Peyton Manning was calling a play. I was waiting for him to turn to the camera and start talking to me.
Peyton, sell me something.
I've been watching too much television.
Sell me something. Here's Josh Scobee, who missed an easy field goal attempt.
Well, basically an extra point.
halftime. Going to go deep for Marvin Harrison. Incomplete at the goal line. Rashean Mathis was right there with him.
And Marvin doesn't complain very much, but he thought that Rashean Mathis was all over him before the ball got there. Rashean Mathis, one of the premier corners in the game, got the post pattern to Marvin. Oh, and he did. He scraped his hand down the back right there of Marvin Harrison, but I don't think it impeded him. But again, there's no contact. I have seen a flag thrown for interference on less than that.
So on 4th and 5, Hunter Smith will try to drop this one inside the 10-yard line. Fair catch called for and made by Alvin Pearman at the 10. You know, Rashean told us last night, if you let these wide receivers run, they're the best passing attack in the league. You've got to get your hands on them. He meant legally.
Yeah, he meant legally, and he meant early in the pass. He said if you let them work against air, they're unbeatable. In other words, you got to disrupt their patterns.
Let's go back and take a look at that again.
Yeah, Mathis knows that he has been beaten here, and he reaches out right there. You know, there's no question. He
got some jersey.
He grabbed the back of the jersey of Marvin Harrison, and he got away with one. That could have easily, and I mean easily, and maybe should have been called interference.
Are we comfortable, Dan, in saying this has been a strange first half?
Well, yes. No, I'm very comfortable saying that. It's total domination by Jacksonville, and yet it is a 7-7 game because of a couple special teams mistakes. They give up a punt return to Terrence Wilkins, and Scobee misses a field goal that was basically an extra point.
Byron Leftwich takes a knee, and that will be the last play of this first half, which, as Dan said, has been dominated by the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Terrence Wilkins' first punt return for a touchdown since September of the 2001 season against the New York Jets has Peyton Manning and the Jaguars tied at 7.
And Greg, if there's a difference between the two teams heading to the locker room, I think one of them, the Colts, are frustrated. The other one, the Jags, I think have to be confident. They have pushed the defending division champions around in this first half.
184 total yards by Jacksonville in the first half to just 66 for the vaunted Colts offense.
You try to build on that if you're Jack Del Rio.
It's the end of our first half. 7-7 is the score. We're back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 41.
That wasn't bad, was it? NFL on CBS. Home of Super Bowl 41.
Halftime at the RCA Dome in Indianapolis. Jacksonville and Indianapolis tied at 7, although you'd never be able to tell by the first half statistics. It looks like it should be a Jacksonville blowout. It isn't. Greg Gumbel along with Dan Deerdorf. There are some reasons why this isn't a Jacksonville blowout.
Yeah, other than like one of those stats that they have only run the ball 10 times, but it has been a litany of mistakes by the Jags. You know, it starts off with what ought to be just a chip shot field goal by Scobee, doink right off the left upright. And then Reggie Wayne, this was an incomplete pass, but it was a chance for the Colts to have a big play. They come right back on a post pattern to Marvin. Marvin didn't catch it, but Marvin was interfered with by Rashean Mathis.
Now, just a short while ago, guess who's out there practicing?
The band was out here to Scobee's right doing a halftime presentation, and Josh was not all that concerned about it. He was... He was out there practicing.
Terrence Wilkins, who returned a punt 82 yards, doesn't get a chance to field this one. Rand Carthon grabs it at the 20-yard line, and that's where the Colts will get started. 1st and 10 here in the second half. And, you know, you'd love to have been a fly on the wall in both these locker rooms at halftime.
The one thing you know that Jack Del Rio, he didn't voice it, but you know he thinks it. You only get so many good opportunities on the road against an elite team. And the Jaguars had a bunch of good opportunities in the first half, and they did not capitalize. Manning
and the Colts from their own 20. And And he's going to start it off with Dominique Rhodes, and he doesn't get much, if anything at all. The Colts, in the first half, coming into today, had 9 drives with 5 field goals and 3 touchdowns. Today, in 3 possessions, 3 punts.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, they scored on 8 of those 9. The only one they didn't score on was Joseph Adai fumbled the ball at the 1-yard line. So they would have been perfect in terms of scoring. Well, that was then and this is now.
Manning to throw. Going to throw it out here, and that's complete to Marvin Harrison to about the 27.
Well, Peyton Manning, boy, does he like to play here. Take a look since 2004, the home games here at the RCA Dome. Check out that rating. 112, a 15-2 record, 40 touchdowns, 11. It's just on and on. You get the impression that maybe the guy's pretty good. We'll get back to you on that later.
3rd and 3. Jury's still out. Moorhead in motion at the top of the screen. Manning looking that way and throws outside to Harrison, and that's a first down. Just enough yardage for the first down, and he's out of bounds.
You wonder if the Colts, Greg, at any time are going to try to establish a running game. 10 yards running in the first half. Yes, we know Edgerrin James is in Arizona, but you know Rhodes and Adai have done a pretty good job during the first 2 games, but they're not even trying to run. I'm not sure they can go the whole game just passing.
Play fake to Rhodes. Manning down the middle. Harrison inside the 40, inside the 35 to about the 30-yard line, and a first down. Rashean Mathis made the tackle.
This is the kind of a matchup, if you're a real football fan, you just love. Rashean Mathis working a little double move against Marvin Harrison. I think it's between Marvin Harrison and Torrey Holt as to who is the best pure route runner. But Marvin is so fluid.
This time they give it to Rhodes, and Rhodes is hit by Paul Spicer in the backfield and fell forward to just over the line of scrimmage.
You know, Marvin's one of those guys. I just like watching him run patterns, even if it's an incomplete pass. It's just the way his shoulders and his hips and everything is in concert with it. It's just a thing of beauty.
Creeping up the charts on the list for most receptions in NFL history. He started the day at number 5 all time. Manning quick drop this time in the slant, and Rashean Mathis there to make the play on Harrison. We talked with Rashean about this matchup. Boy, was he looking forward to it.
Oh, absolutely. He said, hey, you want to measure yourself against the best? And, of course, Mathis with 3 picks already on the season. Now he gets beat to the outside, but look his recovery. You know, Marvin faked him out and got a pretty good inside release. But Rashean Mathis did a good job closing there in the last couple of yards, getting his left hand on the ball.
Now both Rhodes and Adai are in the backfield on 3rd and 9 as Manning works out of the shotgun. Puts Harrison in motion on the near side. Manning with time, directing traffic, wide open for the touchdown is Dallas Clark.
And whatever Jack Del Rio was thinking about, you only get so many chances, has come to fruition. Awesome pass protection. There's still nobody anywhere near Peyton Manning. How long can you let a guy stand in the pocket? And then Dallas Clark, a total blow in the Jaguars secondary. Deion Grant gets over there. That was a token coverage at the last minute. Great protection, a mistake in the secondary. Who'd have thunk it? Indy's in the lead.
When Marvin Harrison isn't making the big catch, he's taking a lot of attention away from everybody else. And touchdown catch of the season, Gramatica with the kick. This is Maurice Drew from the goal line to the 20. across the 25 to about the 28-yard line. Peyton Manning to Dallas Clark. Manning, touchdown pass, has given the Colts the lead. 11:50 to play in the third quarter. The Colts with a 14-7 lead on the Jacksonville Jaguars. A lot of talk about the Jaguars having matured, and they're going to look to Byron Leftwich to show a little bit of it here. From the 28-yard line, the give is to Taylor, right side. Trying to get that ground game going. He's across the 30 to the 32. Let's go back to the touchdown, Dan.
Well, Tom Moore normally leaves Marvin Harrison out here by himself. This time he's going to come in motion, come in here and draw a crowd, which lets Dallas Clark go all the way down the field. Watch it. Marvin normally stays to the outside. He's going to work the middle. There goes Mathis. There goes a crowd. And they just totally disregard Dallas Clark. Again, if that was basketball, he would clearly get the assist.
It's called a layup. 2nd and 6. Taylor spinning. Can't spin out of the grasp of Mike Doss. For Peyton Manning, it was career touchdown pass number 249. You look at his numbers compared to Byron Leftwich. The crowd getting into it here as the Colts have a chance to make a defensive stand on 3rd and 7. Maurice Drew, who has been an absolute pest, is back in the lineup. Reister is hit and hit hard, way short of the first down by Mike Doss.
And has the intensity level of play by these Colts been raised a little bit? Yes, I would think so. Again, look at that form-up tackle right through a guy by Mike Doss. Now that's just about perfect by the former Ohio State All-American.
Reister was 50 pounds heavier. You couldn't tell it. Wilkins will let it bounce and then pick it up.
And that was a smart play by Wilkins. He might have saved the Colts another 5 or 10 yards.
9:44 to play, third quarter. As Dan pointed out, the Colts have gone to the passing game almost exclusively. 14 throws in their last 16 offensive plays. Play fake to a dive. Manning to a dive. Across the 20 and out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Mike Peterson forced him out. The Colts managed 66 total yards in the first half. They rang up 80 on that last touchdown drive. Manning making extra sure the rookie knows what he's doing. Play clock is down to 3. Peyton under pressure and throws it away.
It's just so odd, Greg, to be sitting here at the RCA Dome in Indianapolis and watching the Colts play without Edgerrin James being such a big part of things, running that stretch play, such a good pass protector for Peyton and the offense. And it just it's got nothing to do with Adai and Rhodes and what they're doing or not doing, but it's going to take a while to get over this.
He filled so many roles so well for Peyton and for the offense. 3rd and 4. And in and out of the hands of the rookie Adai.
Yep, and there's a wonderful illustration. That's again, you expect rookies to make mistakes, but that probably would have been a first down if that had been the edge.
So on 4th down, Hunter Smith will come on again to kick. And there is Alvin Pearman deep at his own 25-yard line. 4th punt of the day for the Colts.
Maybe Jacksonville can get something positive on special teams.
Nice kick by Smith. Pearman from the 24. And almost to the 40-yard line. You know the fans are yelling for a push in the back. There was no flag thrown. 53-yard kick, 15-yard return, 14-7 Indy. Remember Army's lonesome end decades ago? There's Marvin Harrison.
Been sitting by himself for 11 years. Of course, there's Gramatica. Gary Brackett had to run into the locker room. Their starting middle linebacker, Rob Morris, has replaced him now on this series. Brackett looked pretty good getting back out onto the field.
Leftwich going to throw deep. Oh, nice pattern. Cut inside the 45-yard line. First down. Leftwich pump fakes down the sideline and out of bounds, intended for Ernest Wilford.
Well, that wasn't a bad pass by Byron Leftwich. He saw the double coverage was all over Wilford, and that baby was just launched. Jason David and Antoine Bethea, they were all over the Jacksonville receiver. That goes down as a very smart incompletion.
Time of possession still heavily in favor of Jacksonville, but if you're a Colts fan, you say, who cares? We lead 14-7.
Well, can they go the rest of the game without running the football effectively?
Here's Fred Taylor. Taylor changes direction, tipped up from behind, and is down at about the 43-yard line by Robert Mathis.
When's the last time we saw that?
Jacksonville 6 out of 9 on third down, and Byron Leftwich wants a timeout. 7:25 to play, third quarter. We'll be back to Indy after this. Back in Indianapolis, some numbers do tell the tale, and for Peyton Manning, 10 passes for 147 completed, whereas, boy, look at the rushing. Unbelievable.
Oh, it's just staggering, really. Good news for Indy. Gary Brackett's back in at middle linebacker.
A big 3rd and 8 for Leftwich. Quick slant, not going to get it. Reggie Williams made the catch, but on the stop was Marlon Jackson, and let's check the penalty flag. It's against Jacksonville.
Pass interference. Number 18 of the offense. The penalty will be declined. 4th down.
That penalty is on Matt Jones, who has not been much of a factor so far today.
Never been a big believer in needing 8 or 9 yards to get a first down and running a 2-yard pattern across the middle. It's not like a hitch to the outside where maybe you got a chance of getting a corner to miss. It's the chances of breaking tackles in there where there are all sorts of defenders don't exist.
Hanson's kick. Wilkins lets it bounce inside the 5. And nice coverage by the Jaguars inside the 5. Scott Starks made first contact.
Well, that's a smart play. Watch Starks elevate, stayed in the field of play. You know, if he'd have stepped into the end zone before he did that, it would have been a touchback, but he stayed in the field of play, elevated, and knocked it back.
And so now Manning and the Colts will start from their own 3-yard line. There is the venerable Tom Moore.
67 years young.
A couple of years ago, Dan, I thought he had one of the great lines, and it was the first day of the season. He walked into our production meeting, sat down, and said, "Let the second guessing begin."
9 years he's been running the show here in Indianapolis.
And all kinds of movement up front at big number 99, Marcus Stroud.
It's, you know, continuity means so much.
Defense. Number 99, encroachment. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
It's Peyton Manning's 9th year, so he's had the same offensive coordinator his entire career. Howard Mudd, It's his 9th year as the offensive line coach, dealing with all the protections. It really is a perfect environment. There's old Howard Mudd. Only been a line coach in this league now for 33 years.
On 1st and 5, this is a dive. Finds running room out across the 15 to the 17-yard line, and an Indianapolis first down.
Hey, they can run the ball.
Well, Adai and Dominique Rhodes trying to fill in for what Edgerrin James has done in the past. Last year in his 2 games.
But 174 yards combined in the first 2 games. That's respectable. But they have not been utilized at all, much to speak of to this point today.
This is Adai again. Left side this time. Across the 20 to the 23. And Darrell Smith there to make the tackle.
Tony Dungy telling us that Joseph Adai has a maturity, a real sense of awareness that you don't often find in a rookie running back. Of course, he thinks a lot of that, he came out of a program at LSU where he was coached by Nick Saban, but he said wise beyond his years.
Of course, those aren't very many years to be wise beyond.
No, but he's still a kid.
2nd and 4. Manning with time. Overthrows Reggie Wayne.
That last example there, Adai stayed in, picked up a blitzer. You show confidence in a rookie running back when you allow him. Hey, you can hand the ball to a rookie. You know how to run. But when you allow him to stay on the field in a passing situation, when you got a guy as valuable as number 18 back there, then you're showing something.
Life and death for your quarterback.
Yes, sir.
Both Rhodes and Adai are back there flanking Manning now on 3rd and 4. Manning, incomplete. Dallas Clark, his intended receiver in the punting unit, will come on.
Well, you can say, geez, is this an Indianapolis offense that's out of sync? I think you just got to give this Jacksonville defensive team credit. They are really good.
They will not, with Reggie Hayward gone, as you mentioned, due to the Achilles injury, they will not register a whole lot of sacks, but their intent is to pressure the quarterback. Pierman backed up all the way to his 20, 30. Forward to about the 34-yard line. Peyton Manning huddling on the sideline while Byron Leftwich goes back to work on the field. Maurice Drew in the backfield with him. And Leftwich to throw. Far side of the field is Reister, and Reister out to the 40-yard line where Marlon Jackson made the tackle.
And a good tackle it was, too. Imagine a cornerback coming out of Michigan knowing how to tackle. And this is a play that could have easily ended up being a first down, but watch how well Jackson comes up against a much bigger man in George Reister, the tight end, who weighs close to 260.
Second time today Reister's been taken down by one of those small cornerbacks.
Well, and remember, he's replacing Nick Harper, who's out of the game with a groin.
On 2nd and 5, this is Drew straight ahead, tried to bounce off the tackler, but Cato June wouldn't let him go.
Well, it's another textbook tackling illustration by a Michigan guy. This time, Cato June. Cato June, a smallish linebacker, but really active. That's how you do it.
So far today, it's really evident that some people are still flying high after defeating Notre Dame a week ago.
Gerald Ford will be making a tackle here in a minute.
Coming up on 4:15 to play, 3rd and 4. That one's complete for a first down to Drew out of the backfield.
Well, Byron, very cool, very calm. 3 excellent throws. 2 excellent throws. There was a running play that Cato made the play, but again, watch this. Look at the good footwork. He's got a chance to step into it. And Maurice Drew might have made a lot more out of that He just put the outside of his foot on the ground instead of the cleats. Tried to shave that one a little too thin.
Drew still in there. On first down, quick drop this time. Leftwich hits his man at about the 46-yard line. And that's the tight end, Kyle Brady.
Well, Kyle Brady, not exactly Shannon Sharp in terms of being involved in the passing game. He's predominantly a blocker, and that's a rare opportunity for him to make a catch.
I believe that's Kyle Brady's first reception of the season.
I know, I was setting you up with that.
Thank you very much. 4 years with the Jets, now in his 8th season with the Jaguars. 3 minutes to play in the third quarter. Drew still on his feet, twisting to the 40 and a first down. And shades of the first quarter Jacksonville Jaguars here.
Yep. Back to pounding it out on the ground, giving their defense a rest. Again, making Manning watch. And this was a formula that really did work in the first half, whether it was Maurice Drew or Fred Taylor.
Peyton Manning looking over some photos on the sideline.
He can't beat you there.
On first down, Drew. Patient. And inside the 35 to the 34-yard line. What came through time and time again in talking with the Jaguars last night is, you know, yeah, this is a rivalry, but they don't feel that the Colts take them as seriously as they should.
Yeah, well, Bill Polian, the GM and president of the Colts, you know, he said, I know that they're Hatfields. I'm just not sure that there are McCoys. So that was locker room material, and saying, yeah, you can say it's important. Maybe it's not quite that important to us.
Maurice Drew, 101 of those rushing yards now for the Jaguars. Looking to add to it. And tripped up at just about the line of scrimmage.
I don't know who got the tackle there, one of the Colts or Vince Manawai. His own guard.
You know, these Jaguars are road warriors. They've won 8 of their last 10 road games. They went 6-2 on the road a year ago and 6-2 at home. And now, with 3 tight ends on the field, the Jaguars are looking at 3rd and 1.
They better get going. They're down to 5 on the play clock.
Leftwich going to throw it incomplete. Reister had it bounce right off of his hands.
And even if he'd have caught it, Gilbert Gardner was right there with coverage. Even if he'd have caught it, I'm not sure this would have been a first down, because he's basically catching it right at the line of scrimmage, and Gardner was in outstanding position.
Here's Josh Scobee. Going to line this one up from 49 yards out. He hit the upright in the first half. This one on its way. And he missed it.
Boy, the last time Jacksonville won here, it was because of Scobee kicking a 50-plus yard field goal, and today he's 0 for 2. The snap was good. The hold was good. The kick,
not so good.
Was bad.
And Jack Del Rio on the sideline has seen his team do so many things right today, but he's still on the short end of the scoreboard.
And he just knows when you're on the road against the Colts in this, you only get a handful of really good opportunities, and you've got to take advantage of those.
Colts back on offense. Pretty good field position. They're on 39-yard line. Play fake to Dominique Rhodes. He shakes one tackler and then goes down at the 36-yard line.
Paul Spicer caused that one to go awry, I believe.
And then John Henderson registers his 2nd sack of the season. Big John. It's a good thing John Henderson doesn't get too riled up for a game.
And Big John is just, he will forever be Big John. He was Big John in probably the 2nd grade.
6'7", 325. Manning, patient. Oh, what a catch by Harrison across midfield to the 48-yard line. It looked like Peyton Manning had overthrown his intended receiver.
Again, working against Rashean Mathis, who's going with Marvin all the way. But when you get a chance to run a crossing pattern like that, that's asking an awful lot of a corner.
End of the third, 14-7 Colts. We're back after this message and a word from your local station. Wide open for the touchdown is Dallas Clark.
I hope you're ready for the fourth quarter.
Indeed we are. Start of the fourth quarter here at RCA Dome. Manning and the Colts just across midfield.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And he calls timeout in a hurry.
Well, he was down against the play clock. He wouldn't have got it off.
We'll come back. 14-7, Indianapolis. Along with Dan Deerdorf and the rest of our CBS Sports crew, Greg Gumbel, RCA Dome in Indianapolis. Fourth quarter play, first down for Manning and the Colts. Lots of play fake, throws it, that's complete inside the 35 to Reggie Wayne to the 31-yard line.
You made a good call. Lots of play
Lots
fake.
of play.
Peyton Manning back in that pocket, and again, off his back foot, not able to step into it. Just floats one out to Reggie Wayne.
18-yard
Look, there's
pickup.
one fake, there's two fakes. He bumps into Dominique Rhodes, which was not part of the play fake, and still ends up with a completion.
To the ground game, and Rhodes dragged down behind the line of scrimmage by Marcus Stroud. Marcus, one of those saying very definitely last night, they don't respect us quite as much as they should.
No, it's a proud group they got up front. But again, it's a chip on your shoulder you should have if you're the second place team trying to overtake the leader.
Manning on second down over the line, incomplete, intended for Dallas Clark. It'll be 3rd and 10.
I think Dallas should have run a little different pattern. Darryl Smith had good coverage on him. I think Peyton, that look Peyton was making, I don't think that was towards Darryl Smith as it was Dallas.
Colts managed just 3 first downs in the first half. They had 5 in the third quarter and have managed 1 here early in the fourth, and looking for 1 here on 3rd and 10. Both running backs in. Rhodes and a dive. Manning. Someone had a hold of him. He still got it away. Penalty marker flies. A dive. Fighting his way to the 12-yard line. Let's check the flag.
Well, sometimes there's no substitute for being 6'5" and 230.
Pass interference. Number 87, the offense.
Oh,
10-yard
forget
penalty
it.
remains.
They're going to
Third
get
down.
Reggie Wayne on offensive interference. Boy, it really negated a superior piece of work by Peyton Manning of staying alive under a heavy rush and getting it off. Rob Meyer was all over him.
You know, both these coaches are probably shaking their heads on the sideline, just wondering how the rest of this game is going to pan out and if it's going to follow according to the form set in the first 3 quarters.
Well, the form is that if they've established one thing over the years, that it's going to be a close game. Blowouts are not part of this this very young series between these two teams. They're both too good to get blown out by the other.
Last year, these teams played a 10-3 game that was scoreless at halftime, and the Colts had to score 10 in the fourth quarter to win it. 3rd and 20. Pump fake. Manning throws. That's complete and dropped at the 21-yard line by Marvin Harrison.
And again, they're ruling that incomplete.
That's a pretty good throw by Manning.
And it was a heck of a hit. Marvin's at the top of your screen. He's just going to work the deep end. And again, watch that. Mathis comes up, but it's really the hit by Deion Grant that really separates him from the football. Mathis, the hit that Mathis put on him wouldn't have dislodged it. Yeah, that was all Grant.
Alvin Pearman again deep. And Hunter Smith just barely got it off. Fair catch called for him. They're going to let it bounce. And once again, Hunter Smith is going to nail this down deep. Ball is killed at the 6-yard line. That's where Leftwich will begin his work when we come back. The Jacksonville Jaguars were so impressive in 8 yards, but look what's happened since then. 3 punts, 2 missed field goals, and an interception. They start from their own 7-yard line. Fred Taylor, right side, not much there. The Colts trying to show that dominant ground game ship has sailed.
Well, but if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, you've got to try to run the football. It's who you are, it's what you are, and I think back to what Jack Del Rio said, this defense so light, so fast, they were made to play with a lead and to pass it on every down plays right into their hands.
2nd and 10. Leftwich over the middle. Almost intercepted by Antoine Bethea, who has played a whale of a football game today.
And I don't think Byron Leftwich was aware that Dwight Freeney almost got it. Watch from the right of your screen. The screen. Oh, Freeney must have missed his passing arm and knocking that ball loose by millimeters. And then down the field, the rookie timed it perfectly.
3rd and 10. Jacksonville has managed just 3 first downs in the second half. Far side, and he just flubbed that one.
Well, he got his own guy knocked back into him. Byron Leftwich had to deal with the fact that his own player got knocked right into his chest while he's trying to throw the ball.
A courtesy of Dwight Freeney.
Take a look at this.
Oh.
He's got Khalif Barnes. Man, there's a little more to Dwight Freeney, I guess, than just speed around the corner.
He immediately put his man in reverse. Terrence Wilkins with an 82-yard punt return to his credit today. Stands near midfield. Well, look at this kick by Hansen. Drives him back to the 39. And he's going to get buried back there.
That was a beautiful punt.
Tony Gilbert in on the tackle. 53-yard punt and no return. It's an old adage that good football teams find a way to win. And although the Colts haven't won this, they have been on the short end of the statistical sheet for much of this day, yet they lead 14-7. Still plenty of time remaining here in the 4th quarter. Manning from the shotgun.
Terrence Wilkins.
Finds time over the middle. Penalty marker is down. The ball comes loose, and they're going to rule him down, but let's check the flag on the far side of the field.
The runner was ruled down by contact.
The Jaguars are pointing in Indy's direction. They're looking for an offensive interference.
Holding, number 27, defense, penalties applied.
They can look for whatever
Result
they
of the
want.
play is a first down.
They're going to get Rashean Mathis for the hold.
Rashean Mathis figured last night he was going to be locked up against Marvin Harrison for most, if not all, of the day today.
And here come the Colts to the line. This is a little more of a hurry-up than just their classic no huddle. There's a difference.
From the 44, Dominic Rhodes, right side. Cuts it inside to about the 40-yard line. Mathis and Donovan Darius coming up to make the tackle.
So you can no huddle and use basically the entire 40-second play clock. But Peyton Manning said, I want to run it a little faster this week. I'd like to see a few tongues hanging out on the other side of the line of scrimmage.
Peyton huddles up. He just huddles up at the line of scrimmage.
Right.
Colts need the 34-yard line for a first down. It's going to be Rhodes this way. Going to turn the corner with blocking in front of him. 25 to the 23-yard line and a first down.
Oh, he had big Tariq Glenn out in front of him. Dominique Rhodes did a pretty nice job of setting up his blockers. And Brian Williams, a cornerback who came over from Minnesota, still down. Here comes 78. Here's Tariq out front.
Tariq's got no one to block.
Yeah. Tariq kind of just absorbs him. Wasn't exactly what I would call a crushing block, considering he's the one that got knocked backwards. But he neutralized the defender.
Absorbed was a really good word.
Yeah. He didn't punish him.
Number 29, Brian Williams, being helped off the field. He's the one who made the hit. Let's take a look.
Brian Williams trying to come up, lowers his shoulder, Boo, but you can see that he got his head right on the thigh of Dominique Rhodes, and probably either a stinger or got a few stars floating around in there.
Williams, 4 years at the Minnesota Vikings, signed as a free agent by Jacksonville this year. He's replaced by number 31, Scott Starks, the second-round cornerback out of Wisconsin. Or second year, excuse me.
Actually played in Minnesota for Mike Tice, who's now on the Jaguars staff.
First down, Manning and the Colts from the 23. Play fake. Manning looking. Incomplete. Second and 10.
I don't know that Peyton has ever looked comfortable this entire day, and I think a lot of that just has to do with the quality of this defensive team he's opposing.
11 rushes, 31 passes.
It's like Andy Reid is calling the plays. Philadelphia threw the ball more than anybody in the league.
You see the play clock down to 5. Manning going to go for it all. Down the side, it is incomplete. Rashean Mathis on Harrison.
Well, the crowd can boo all they want, but that sure did look like great work by Rashean Mathis. Again, no bump. He gets a hand on him there. Ooh, did he yank that jersey again? You know, he didn't get any bump at all inside the 5-yard mark. And then he puts his hands on him again as they go downfield. Now, I don't think the contact at the end was a problem. But you're going to get called as a corner if you put that hand on after the 5 yards and ride a guy.
The officials are not further endearing themselves to this Indianapolis crowd.
Timeout, Indiana.
Manning calls a timeout.
Oh, he's mad at the crowd.
You bet. He wants things a little quieter.
Yeah, he's mad for them making noise.
Well, let's remember this sequence of events. Marvin Harrison felt he was interfered with. When they showed the replay, the crowd agreed and booed, but Manning couldn't hear himself speak and had to burn a timeout. Now 3rd and 10. Manning over the middle. Oh, what a catch by the 2-yard line by Reggie Wayne.
Glenn, Gandy, Saturday, Scott, and Dean. They get all the credit for this play. Look at the pocket they give Peyton Manning. Look at that. Perfect line of vision right up the middle of the field. Nobody even close to him. Reggie Wayne did a good job of getting away from the bump, getting to the inside, and then going up and really securing the football. But that was all about great pass protection.
74. First and goal. A dive. Met at the 2. Clock continues to move. 9 minutes to play in the fourth quarter.
And this is where Edgerrin James, and he's gone, so there's nothing you can do about it, but this was certainly his territory. An extremely powerful back who had a nose for the goal line.
Number 95, Darrell Reed, is the blocker in front of a dive. He is a defensive lineman at 6'2", 288. Manning gonna walk it in for the touchdown.
Michael Vick. Well, what do you think of that? That's the smile on Peyton Manning's face. Geez, Peyton Manning has a hard time collecting game balls. Marvin Harrison keeps them. Joseph Adai kept his first touchdown. Hey, you'd think after running it in Peyton, keep that baby.
Nah, he tossed it.
Come on. Oh, look at him thank Tom Moore on the way by.
Gramatica with the extra point. 8.5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Hard to believe the Jacksonville Jaguars were in charge of this game at one point.
Well,
but it's a 21-7 Indy lead.
I don't know much, but I know Jacksonville spends very little time defensively defending the Peyton Manning naked bootleg.
This is the 10th rushing touchdown in his career.
It's not a high priority. It's not a high priority item in their practice schedule. Wasn't even all that great of a fake to a dive. Didn't even put the ball in his stomach.
You know, you're right. Not one Jaguar that we interviewed yesterday said we're looking out for Peyton's running game.
No, I doubt they had a special period devoted to practice on Wednesday or Thursday.
So now the Jaguars, whose bread and butter today has been running the ball, have to think in other terms now with 8.5 minutes to play in the fourth.
And now we have the scenario where the Indianapolis Colts for the last 5 years have made their bread and butter. They're protecting a lead, they're at home, they're on the fast track, and here comes Dwight Freeney, Robert Mathis, and company. Get in the track stances and let's rush the quarterback.
Maurice Drew, 32, is the deep man for Jacksonville. Gramatica's kick is going to be pretty short. Drew on the run at the 10. 20. 30. 40. Still on his feet and out to midfield, and a great return by Maurice Drew all the way back into Indianapolis territory.
Well, Jacksonville, unlike that play we just saw from Maurice Drew, has made their share of mistakes today. Byron Leftwich really had a wide open receiver right here that overthrows George Reister. It ends up being intercepted by David. Then from nearly extra point range, Josh Scobee hits the upright, and then the second one from nearly 50, he hooks it again left. So Jacksonville has made their own fair share of mistakes.
41-yard kickoff return. Leftwich with time, and now he's going to run it. Slides down at about the 42-yard line of the Colts. A pickup of, let's see, 7 on the play.
Did he hurt himself sliding? He's got up kind of clutching the upper part in the back of his right leg. He's still, look at that.
Still reaching back for it.
Yeah, still kind of grabbing it a little bit.
Second and 3, the give to Drew. Tries to dance outside, and number 59, Cato June, comes up with the hit. Thanks, JB.
Yeah, Cincinnati up by 11 points.
Crowd comes alive on 3rd and 3. Quick pass, and that's complete. To the 35, to the 34 is Ernest Wilford.
Boy, and Jason David giving him an awful lot of room in that situation. But when you're protecting a 2-touchdown lead, you can afford, your cushion expands. Your cushion expands geometrically to the size of your lead. Whatever the heck that means.
Leftwich can throw on first down. Quick pitch. Drew outside. Cuts back inside the 30 to about the 27-yard line. Gardner with the tackle. Clock continues to move, coming up on 6:15 to play in the fourth.
It looks like Drew is hobbled a little bit as he heads over to the Jags bench. Just a brutal schedule for Jacksonville getting started. They've got to go on the road again next week to the nation's capital to play the Skins.
Alvin Pearman has come on to replace Drew. 2nd and 3. Leftwich flips it out. This is Pearman. And hit hard at the 23-yard line. Mike Doss delivering the hit, but it's enough for a first down.
It was an absolutely tough way to begin the season. You can see that Dallas and Pittsburgh at home, then on the road to Indianapolis and Washington. That'll get your attention.
You betcha. Leftwich looking, gonna run and out of bounds. Run out of bounds by Darrell Reed. There's Maurice Drew. Looking quite a bit different than when we saw him in the preseason. Yes. One thing, his eyebrows have grown back.
Just a really likable kid. Weren't you impressed when we sat down with him? Just one of those personalities.
Part of the rookie hazing ritual. He had dreadlocks, and they said, well, we're not going to cut your dreads, but we're going to shave your eyebrows. Gee, thanks, guys. 2nd and 6. Leftwich escapes the first pressure, but not the second.
Look how quickly Dwight Freeney got around the corner. Again, we talked about this is right into the Colts' wheelhouse. Dwight Freeney gets a jump on the ball. Watch him go at the top. He is around Khalif Barnes so quickly that Leftwich he doesn't even get a chance to look downfield.
3rd and 7. Jacksonville, 8 out of 14 on 3rd down.
Freeney and Mathis just switched sides.
Leftwich throws incomplete, under pressure again.
Yeah, now I think it was Mathis. Again, I think going against, was he working against Barnes, the left tackle again? Yep, that time he beat him to the inside. Oh, and Chris Naoli. Ooh, you can see he never saw that coming. They fell right on the back of his leg.
Naoli came into this game nursing a sore knee anyway.
Oh, and that is how you see offensive linemen get hurt. It's not the guy they're working against. There's so much traffic going on all around you. It's somebody else that falls on your leg when you don't see it coming. Again, there's Chris Naoli there on the left, and it's Robert Mathis who spins around after getting Leftwich and falls right on his left leg.
Naoli at 6'3", 330 pounds, spent his first 5 seasons in New Orleans. This is his 5th year in Jacksonville.
Remember, he got drafted by Mike Ditka, who was the coach of the Saints at the time.
Did you see Ricky Williams is back in action in the Canadian football?
I guess his broken forearm has mended.
Well enough for him to pick up, I think, something like 57 yards rushing.
Nick Saban last week in talking to him. Weren't you surprised to hear him basically talk about, apparently Ricky's welcome back with open arms in Miami.
4th and 7. Drew is back in the lineup. Leftwich over the middle, a bullet inside the 10-yard line to Reister.
3 Colts all around George Reister. Take a look at this precision pass. Cato June comes floating across the front. Well done by number 7. 3:45
to play. Leftwich will throw it away. into the corner of the end zone. Cortez Hankton was battling Marlon Jackson. It'll be 2nd and 10. 2nd and goal. 3:43 to play here in the 4th quarter.
If Jacksonville gets this in for a touchdown, a lot of this game remains. Jags have what, 2 timeouts left?
Yep. 11th play of this drive. Play clock down to 5. To 2. To 1. Leftwich pulls it down. Now throws. It is incomplete. Back of the end zone, Ernest Wilford. We've talked about the height advantage that the Jaguars enjoy with these receivers, and Ernest Wilford goes 6'4", but he couldn't come down with it.
Well, it's nice to have tall receivers, but you can still overthrow them. He's wide open, and that ball just sails on Leftwich. That ball was just thrown too high. That could have been a pretty easy touchdown if he puts it down more by the numbers for Wilford.
3rd and goal. Play clock at 3. Leftwich, all kinds of time. Drew, touchdown! His first NFL touchdown. The rookie out of UCLA with the good hands, and he's going to keep that football.
And now, all of a sudden, anyone in this stadium who thought about leaving is changing those plans. Again, good pass protection. This time his line kept that Colt pass rush off of him. And the rookie Bethea jumped a little bit too far to the outside, and Drew took advantage of it.
The kick is good. 3:32 to play in regulation, and the Jaguars close to 21-14.
You have 2 timeouts left. I'm talking about an onside kick. Now, you would say you got 2 timeouts left, the 2-minute warning. That's 3 stoppages of the clock. All of that stuff says kick it deep. On the other side, Peyton Manning is the quarterback and the offense on the other side of it. That's got to figure into the equation here in what Jack Del Rio's thinking about what to do here. Conventional wisdom here is always kick it away. Yeah, but you got to think to yourself, am I going to get it back?
Well, I'm thinking if you kick it short, if he's onside kick and you don't recover, you've done Peyton Manning a favor.
You got a great defense, no question about it.
Well,
but it's also Peyton Manning. I would kick it deep, but I'm saying it's food for thought.
Here it is, Dan. 3.5 minutes to play, and we come down to the main focus of this game, which is the Colts offense against the Jacksonville defense.
That's right. And to this point, his defense has played well enough, I think, to give him confidence to kick it deep.
Terrence Wilkins, a yard deep in the end zone, and is buried back around the 10-yard line. Montel Owens, a rookie out of the University of Maine, makes the big special teams play, and that's where the Colts will start.
Well, that's how you get downfield. You slice and knife through the coverage, and then when you get there, be under control, form up, and put the shoulder and take him down. And right now we're looking at a football game where the difference in this game is Terrence Wilkins and that punt return.
The Colts, averaging 34.5 points a game coming in today, have scored just 21. They've been averaging 421 yards a game. They've got 259 on the board. Darrell Reed in the lineup again as a blocking back. And this is Rhodes. And Rhodes stood up at about the 13-yard line.
Well, there was a good illustration of Dominique Rhodes with 2 hands on the football. He looked like he went to the Woody Hayes school of covering it up.
Clock continues to move as we come up on 3 minutes to play.
And as you notice, Peyton goes back to the huddle. They will not be snapping the football with much time left on the play clock. He'll milk this thing for everything.
Rhodes gets a nice block out across the 20 to the 23-yard line and a first down.
Oh, that's a killer for Jacksonville. That is a tough one for the Jaguars. Boy, you love to protect the lead by putting the ball on the ground for a couple of plays and hammering out a first down. Dallas Clark with the good block there for Dominique Rhodes. That is a feel-good moment for an offense.
And now Jack Del Rio has to start thinking about burning timeouts on defense rather than saving them for his offense. 2 minutes to play in Indianapolis. And now the clock stopped at 2:03. So Jack Del Rio uses a timeout here and then gets another stoppage of play after the next offensive run. We didn't know the nature of this game, Dan, how it was going to go, other than you just knew it was going to be a close game.
No, history told us that. Plus, what are we talking about here? We're talking about a team that last year was 14-2 against a team that was 12-4. Now, these are a couple of the elite teams in the league.
And it had not escaped the attention of the Jaguars that of their 4 losses during the regular season last year, 2 of them were handed to them by the Colts.
Right. And they realize if we'd have just split, that means we're both 13-3. And then look at that. We go to tiebreakers to figure out who wins the division. And that, that's if they just could have won that 10-3 game up here, all of a sudden we're looking at 2 13-3 teams, and everything's different.
First down. Rhodes. Maybe a yard, and that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to play in Indianapolis. The Colts hanging on to a 1-touchdown lead. Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf in Indianapolis with 2 minutes to play, each team with 1 timeout remaining. Manning calls the signals on 2nd and 9. And still 10 seconds to burn on the play clock. Rhodes across the 25 to the 27 and a clash of bodies at the 27-yard line. Go back and listen to that. You could hear that one all the way up here.
Sure could. I think Deion Grant responsible for maybe the most noise in that tackle. So now Peyton comes over to talk to Tom Moore and try to figure out what do we do here to pick up a first down. If they don't, Jacksonville will get the ball back.
Jacksonville uses its 3rd and final timeout.
Well, if they stop them here, he most certainly will.
3rd and 6. Rhodes, left side. And he's nailed at the 25-yard line. Darryl Smith played off the blocker and made the stop.
So the Jaguars are going to get the ball back with somewhere around 1 minute and 10 seconds left. They'll have no timeouts. Again, Paul Spicer got upfield and pretty much took that thing away, and Darryl Smith just had to come in with a relatively easy cleanup.
Alvin Pearman is deep. And Hunter Smith, who has done a terrific job of kicking the ball all day long, will get this one away from about his own 15-yard line, and we get a whistle and a timeout.
Timeout, Indianapolis. 3rd and final team timeout will be a 30-second timeout.
All the timeouts remaining for each side. And we have 1:07 on the clock. There will be plenty for the coaches to talk about after this game.
Oh, yeah. For the Jags, might be a celebration. Who knows? This is the National Football League. They're going to get, I'm not sure what kind of a punt it'll be, but an average punt will give the Jaguars decent field position. Certainly the lack of timeouts is a problem. But we've seen touchdowns scored in this league in less than a minute quite often.
Let's see if Hunter Smith is going to give Perriman a chance to return this. Perriman at his own 25-yard line. Here comes the rush. And he kicks it towards the sideline. And that's not going to be a good kick at all.
Boy, they're going to keep marking this baby up. There's the 40, there's the 42. Right about the 42-yard line.
Pretty good field position for Leftwich with 1 minute remaining on the clock. That's a 33-yard punt.
Had the right idea about not wanting to give up a return, but I think he might have sacrificed a little too much yardage.
10 late comebacks in his young career for Byron Leftwich.
Well, we've got the tall receivers, but not necessarily blazers, with the exception of Matt Jones. But now we're going to have Freeney and Mathis. They're going to look like they got rocket boosters on their back.
The veteran safety, Bob Sanders, is not in the lineup for the Colts, but Bethea, the rookie, has played tremendously well today. Leftwich over the middle, almost intercepted by Gilbert Gardner. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Uncontested. Gilbert Gardner just can't pull it in. He jumped that route, read it the whole way. Leftwich locked in, and he was all over.
Chris Naoli, who limped off the field, is back at right guard for Jacksonville. 2nd and 10.
Good news there.
Leftwich looking deep down the middle of the field, intercepted. Mike Doss to the 35 and out of bounds.
Ooh, and you gotta wonder, Greg, if Byron Leftwich would have put some air under that football, what might we have seen?
6 interceptions all last year thrown by the Jaguars quarterbacks. That's the 4th this season for Leftwich.
He gets great protection, a chance to pump and then step into the throw, but he had Reggie Williams a step behind the Colts defense. Watch Williams, number 11. Right there, if that ball is to the center of the field, I don't think Mike Doss can make a play on it. I don't think Mike Doss was as deep as he should have been. He gets the pick.
Manning takes the knee. Jack Del Rio, boy, first quarter, you had to think that he felt no game was in hand early on, but his team was playing as well as any coach could have possibly asked in this building. The final 20 seconds will tick away, and the Indianapolis Colts go to 3-0. For Dan Deerdorf, Greg Gumbel, so long from Indy. The final score, the Colts 21, the Jaguars 14. Let's take you to New York.